everyone, Joshua Hanlon here at Bricks Cascade in Portland, Oregon, and today we're looking at the ultimate fan service build. This is Star Wars and Harry Potter mashup display here. So I'm joined by a couple of builders who are going to be taking us through this, starting with Eric here. He's going to take us through some of the Harry Potter sections. So what do you have for us?
So about 2 years ago, I always was kind of jealous of the Star Wars guys. They get their own section. So I wanted to go, how can I get in them? So I'm like, why not just have the Hogwarts castle be attacked by Star Wars? So I talked to my closest friend who's a Star Wars guy, and he's James, and we decided to do it. So I made the Star Wars buildings, and I made the one scene that's in the Great Hall of being attacked through by the stormtroopers, and that's pretty much what we did. I built that section in about 3 weeks.
Talk about the design of the buildings there and kind of how that came together.
The designs just happened on the parts I had. It was a COVID build. I had a lot of tan, I had a lot of gold. So I decided to just study other people's designs. I'm a big Harry Potter builder. I've never done Hogwarts myself. So I just looked online and I took designs I liked and I added my own and I learned techniques, and I'm getting better and it's looking better.
What is going on in the interior there? What are some of the minifigures?
So the interior is, these kids have midichlorians, right? Because they're magic. So, of course, the Empire has to come and take care of them, the younglings, so to speak. And so that's the first scene where the ship goes through and breaks through, and they're having their nice meal, and it gets interrupted by the stormtroopers and them having to battle.
Now, did you do the bridge section there as well? Because that's a really fantastic looking build.
The bridge is done. Again, I had a lot of those wood plank pieces, and I just kind of spent an hour one night and just kind of built it. I can't explain how it came out so good so quick, but it did.
Yeah, no, it looks fantastic. And then you've even got the Star Wars and Harry Potter kind of stormtroopers out there in front of the buildings.
Yes, that's kind of right after they break through, and then Dumbledore and the teachers there are basically defending and getting together and trying to beat the stormtroopers. And we also have a dragon that's actually helping out the wizard people against the TIE fighters. And there's Dementors, not sure what side they're on.
I love it. Excellent work there. So thank you so much. Now we'll kind of move out into the rest of the build here with James. So take us through, what else do we have going on?
All right. So starting over here in the far corner with the Imperial shuttle, Emperor Palpatine has landed with a squad of Royal Guards. And you can see Professor Snape, Professor Dumbledore, Professor Kingsley, and Professor Moody coming out to meet him. And they get into an engagement. You got some blaster bolts flying. Snape's using the Abracadabra spell on a couple Royal Guard. And then moving on behind it, you can see an astromech that's trying to fix the flying car from Harry Potter unsuccessfully. Then coming behind that, you can see Aragoth in his spider cave with his mate. Inferno Squadron from Battlefront, and a squad of stormtroopers are attacking the spider cave and not doing so good. Just to the left of that, or the right of it, you can see a speeder bike that crashed into the side of the spider cave and is all on fire. There's two weeping willows, one here on top of here, and then one in the ravine that are grabbing scout speeder bikes, troopers as they fly by.
I love that detail with the bikes up in there.
Yep, it was a lot of fun to build. And then moving on in the back here, you can see a bunch of students flying on their brooms, shooting speeder bike scouts with their wands, and the speeder bikes are shooting blaster bolts at the children. Then you can see a small group of centaurs in the back here with a little beehive. Moving forward, all the way to the front, you can see a squad of stormtroopers are trying to capture a group of students, and they're shooting each other with wand bolts and blasters. Then behind the stormtroopers, you can see one of the trash compactor monsters from the Death Star has snuck down and is about to eat one of the stormtroopers. And then behind that, you can actually see an Imperial officer that found an herbology book and is trying to figure out what's going on. He's not sure.
There's a lot of scientific research happening.
A lot of scientific research. Then you can see Grop, who's Hagrid's half-giant brother, who just beat down an ATST walker with his giant club and is beating on him. Moving up front here over to Hagrid's hut, you can see Hagrid and Chewbacca have just ripped a stormtrooper apart from limb. And Hagrid's pet Hobgriffin, Bixby, is about to eat another stormtrooper. Then there's a small squad of stormtroopers that are questionable whether they're going to move in and try and attack Hagrid or not after seeing their buddy eaten and their other buddy ripped apart. Then moving on forward, you can see Darth Vader is force choking Professor Umbridge, with Ron, Harry, Hermione, and Neville guarding the entrance to the bridge to go into the castle. Then moving on forward from that, you can see Fluffy, Hagrid's, or the Cerebus, is about to eat a protocol droid. And then moving a little bit forward to that, you can see the DX-9 Stormtrooper shuttle that Eric mentioned that blew a hole in the Great Hall, and the 20 Stormtroopers are running across the ramp and ruining dinner.
This is so incredible. There's so much happening here.
Yeah. And then just because Eric loves Scooby-Doo and little Easter eggs, you can see Scooby-Doo hiding over here with the centaurs next to the beehives, because Eric loves sneaking Scooby-Doo in. And then, of course, like Eric mentioned, there's a bunch of Dementors flying around. Who knows what they're doing? And a bunch of the owls carrying messages all over the place.
I love it here. So as you guys kind of had the idea for this layout, how did it come together in terms of the different elements that you wanted to incorporate here on both the Star Wars and Harry Potter side?
So like Eric mentioned, with COVID, after about 2 years ago, he's like, hey, James, I want to try and sneak this in. So we kind of sat down. We had 2 or 3 little sensing or brainstorm sessions. We came up with a general idea. And then about 3 weeks after that, Eric delivered the castle pieces. And then he's like, all right, we need to come up with the Dark Forest and kind of want to incorporate this and this. And we broke it up into grids and said, all right, this would be cool to have in this grid. This would be cool to have in this grid. And then the shuttle landing attacking the big professors, and then the spider cave. So we kind of brainstormed that. I watched a bunch of Harry Potter over and over again to get the general idea. And then we just started adding little elements. I had a lot of grays and greens, or grays and blacks in my collection because I built spaceships. Well, I had to order all the greens because I didn't have any green. And I never built trees before, so I experimented with a few tree designs, came up with the one I'm using here, and then ordered all the trees. It sat in my basement for about 9 months because of COVID. And then all the tree parts came in, everything else came in. We sat down, we put it all together. We took it to BrickCon last October. And then this week, my wife sat me down and we finished greebling all the haunted forest with all the detail around all the trees. And we brought it here and finished it up, and here it is.
And those little details add so much, like the brown paths through the woods, even the trees themselves. So talk about what techniques you kind of decided on for the trees there.
That was the hard part, because if you look online, there's 100 different people doing 100 different trees. We wanted them to be strong enough where they could be tall enough to, so grop would be basically the height that we use for most of the trees. And then we just kind of worked with different tree designs to see what would be the most stable after that, basically. And so each of the tree trunks have Technic pegs that are keeping them together, and then just building and crossing the different leaf colors we had, trying to represent them, and then changing shapes. And then added some of the dingly bits here and there, and the seaweed stuff in different spots. And of course, putting the Dementors and owls on top.
What is the public reaction like to this build? I don't think I've ever seen a Harry Potter Star Wars crossover like this. So when people come up, do they notice, the Harry Potter, the Star Wars, or what has been the reaction?
It's kind of a mix of both. It's awesome seeing like the 5 to 12-year-olds. They come up and they say either, oh my God, it's Star Wars, or oh my God, Harry Potter. And then you can see the eyes just get big as pie plates because they realize it's Harry Potter and Star Wars, or Star Wars and Harry Potter. And literally you could just watch their minds explode. It's awesome seeing that look in the little guys and gals' faces. And they all love it. All the little kids love this thing. Mm-hmm. And again, it was a lot of fun for both Eric and I to make it, and my wife to help out immensely, doing all the greebling and stuff and coming up with some of the brainstorm ideas and the texturing and stuff. So it was a lot of fun.
I don't know if we mentioned the TIE fighters earlier either, so you've even got some aerial support coming in here too.
Yeah, so I've got 2 TIE fighters that are attacking the Hornbeak Dragon there and getting fire breathed on it. So yeah, it was a lot of fun bringing all the different elements in together and trying to get them to jive in a sensible manner.
Now, do you have any other ideas to expand on this, or were there other maybe like Star Wars or Harry Potter elements you'd wanted to add but just couldn't do it for the show?
No, I think this is pretty good. If we get any bigger, it's a little bit too unmanageable. It's hard to manage right now as it is because of the space and size, and I'm out of space and Eric's out of space at our build spaces, so I can't get any bigger than this. As it was, it took up my whole dining room table. And when Eric was working on his parts and pieces, it took up his whole dining room table. So yeah, this will probably be as big as it is. Not sure if we're going to take it apart after this or not, or take it to another show, but we'll see.
Yeah. And then, Eric, for your buildings over there, when you bring those to the show to set up, did those just come as one piece, or how does that work?
Each building is one separate piece. Okay. So it's really easy to carry, actually, on my end. The hard part is James. I can fit everything in my van.
And then when you've got a build like this with tons of minifigures and stuff, when you come to the show, do you just kind of decide where to set those up in the show, or is that all pretty pre-planned?
We pre-plan, but it never works out.
Okay.
So in the end, yeah, it's where there's space is where they go. But these are pretty much the same since the last time we did this. So.
Gotcha. Well, it's a fantastic layout here, so great work to all of you involved. Thank you so much for taking us through the layout here. Appreciate it.
Thank you.